You should never be chasing money for interior design work that you do, whether it's services or for furniture. You run your business, you set the parameters, you're in control. Don't ever be chasing money from clients. And you know what? The good clients really appreciate when you have all of these processes in place and they respect you more for it. Trust me. I'm Claire Jefford, certified interior decorator and business coach. I'm here with my no-nonsense approach to give you clarity in your interior design business. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to make sure you get notified every time I publish a new video. If you have ever chased clients for payment or for services, for furnishings, it's just a really lousy place to be, and we need to stop that right now, and I'm being dead serious, okay? I see this still too often in my group. Every other week someone's saying that they're chasing payment. It's usually because they don't have processes or they went against their processes for one reason or another. Don't do that. Since the beginning of my career, I've been successfully getting retainer fees from clients, and you can see my letter of agreement. I will add links to it in the description below. So if you need one, I have a walkthrough with video, and it's going to help you immensely, even if it's just a starting point for you. I promise, just to get your confidence there and to give you an idea of, where should you be starting, what should you be saying in these contracts. It's a one-pager, so please go check it out. If you missed my previous video, though, I want you to go and take a look at it. It's what is a retainer agreement. So I talk a little bit more about the agreement itself, where here I'm talking about the fee and what you should be charging. And let's just be clear that this has nothing to do with the initial consultation fee itself. You've already received that up front, hopefully. That's all done. You come to their house now, you're looking at their home, considering what kind of project service you're going to offer for this project, and that's where we're at. Do me a favor though, just comment below and let me know, do you take payment for the initial consultation prior to meeting clients at the initial consultation, or do you get payment while you're there? Let's talk about the first retainer. So let's say you're with your client, we're at the initial consultation meeting, we know that they want to go through for custom decorating services, and they are looking at their living room and their dining room. So we charge $2,500 per room to put together a 2D plan, to source all of the furnishings, and to put together a mood board and present it to the client. So that's going to be $5,000 for these 2 rooms, and we are going to request $2,500 upfront. Then we request the balance 5 days prior to the presentation meeting. So this is really important, because then by the time we get to the meeting, just like when we arrived at the consult, everything to do with money is all clear. We've been paid up front. The client's, excited. They're ready for the presentation meeting, and we're all good to go. So now what about the second phase of a retainer fee, the second phase of design? So this is the way that we work it. We're going to estimate that for this client, the custom living room and dining room is going to take, let's say, 20 hours of time. And I usually estimate, say the client 15 to 20 hours or 20 to 25. That way, again, you're just managing their expectations, giving them a little bit of an idea of the approximate time. Now, of course, if the scope goes up, if more things are added on, that are out of your control or that the clients asked you to do, then they just have to understand that the price then is going to go up because it's going to take you more hours. Let's say that you are billing 20 hours at $150 an hour, and that's going to be $3,000. So I like to say to the client, okay, we're estimating around $3,000 for this. We would kindly request now a retainer for the $3,000. And then what I do is I actually put that into a separate bank account. I have 3 different accounts. One of them is a retainer account. So the retainer account, I do not touch this account. So even with the previous money before that I talked about, I leave that, and that later on becomes what I need to pay for taxes at the end of the year. With the retainer then, now I know we've got the money and we can move forward, but we also need to have a purchasing agreement in place. So that's really important, because now we're moving forward, we're implementing, now they need to understand. It's much more in depth than a letter of agreement for the way that I work, right? The letter of agreement gets you, the presentation, and then afterwards implementation. You need to discuss things like warranties, how you're going to deal with, if there's furniture that, is damaged upon, when it comes in, or what happens if the dye lot changes on something, or you order a CFA and the CFA is different to the memo that you showed the client. Like, there's so many different things, right? So I like to say to the client that we're billing bi-weekly now, and that way they know where they're at, you know where they're at, you're keeping track of your time. So that's really important to have something in place so the client knows when to expect a next invoice from you. And then what happens is, when let's say we've done 5 hours and it took us 5 hours to place all the orders, then we would invoice for 5 hours, but then I would credit back part of the retainer. So it can get a little bit confusing. You really have to know how many hours you have, that are going to still be needed for the client. You don't ever want to leave yourself short. And I usually find that just by, if I know that like, oh gosh, this is, the client's asked us to source X, Y, and Z more. And, then I just explain that and say, you know what, we've actually been 20 hours. We're not going to apply any of the retainer because we still feel like we're going to need this 3,000 for going forward. To see the project through to the end. So that's something you're going to have to gauge, but it's just more or less making sure that the client understands how you're working their money, how you're going to work that retainer. And I find that sure, you got to ask for the money up front, but then as you keep going, then at the end, as you invoice them, then you're applying part of that retainer and saying, oh, we applied $1,000 of this retainer to this week's invoice. And so like I said, by the time you get to the end, you really want to try to make it, the best cool beans is when you have, nothing outstanding. They don't owe you anything and you don't owe them anything. And if you ever do kind of get to the point where you feel like you need a little bit more of a retainer, then you can absolutely go to the client and you can say, okay, you know what, like we've added on quite a bit of work. We do need to just get another retainer from you to see this project to the end and let them know. So I find that clients, as long as they have an idea, they have an understanding, they realize that if they're going to add scope to the project, then it's going to take more time. But you just need to be really clear up front about how you're billing, how much you charge, how long that retainer is good for, and how often you're billing. Sorry if I already said that. If you get to the point in your business that you feel like you just want to have flat fees, then that's great too. Just make sure that you are kind of doing that autopsy at the end of every project to see how long did it actually take. Make sure you're writing down that time. Every 15 minutes that you or someone in your team is working on that project, make sure that you are noting that and you're billing for it. And then afterwards you can say, oh wow, we thought that this was going to take, 25 hours, but it actually ended up taking 40 hours. Why was that? Where were we off? And if there's a learning curve and you're new, you can't charge for that, okay? You do have to eat some time on your own on that. I think that's fair. And again, as you get better in your processes, as you get more experience, this will become much easier to you, I promise. And on a side note, I just want to say, go and watch this video where a client refused to pay me. That was a video where I was trying to work out the retainer, and then at the end, I had a nominal amount that was due, and they refused to pay me. What happened? You'll have to go watch the video to see. By the way, if this is all sounding really overwhelming to you and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't even got clients yet, or I'm finding it hard to get clients, or I'm not sure my process for my consultation, don't worry, I can help. I've got Rock the Initial Consultation. It's a whole processes package from the start of the initial discovery call right to the end of the initial consultation meeting. Templates, email drafts, you even see me in an initial consultation meeting with a client. So I'll have links below to that. Even more comprehensive is my bundle, which includes the LOA. So if you want a full package, you want to feel really confident about your services, what you're offering to your clients, how you speak to your clients, then make sure you check that out. I appreciate that this may seem very overwhelming and stressful, but I promise you over time it gets a lot easier, and to talk about the money gets a lot easier as well. And like I said, the clients really appreciate it. You might as well talk about it. We all, you're gonna have to collect it from them. There are payment for services. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, so I hope that I've helped give you a little bit of clarity on that. And let me know your experiences with asking clients for payments up front. Comment below and let me know, do you get payment up front for your clients? I really hope you do. I do. My goal is to stop these posts in my group where people are saying, help, I have a client that owes me money. No, 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 no more. All right, and if you're not already in my group, it's Interior Design Business Strategies, IDBS, where there is no BS. Search it up on Facebook, ask to join. I'll see you there. Bye. We did your admin, we ordered these, these issues. Hey, we love everything that you chose. Woo woo.